Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my playthrough of Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. This will be my first playthrough on my channel, and I'll be starting a new game on the Nightmare difficulty. This is probably a really bad idea since this is my first time playing the game. So I'll be going through the game, and for the sake of information, this is a partially blind playthrough. I played the prologue before, but this will be my first full playthrough, and I'll also be using a spoiler-free guide. I don't want to miss the side content, which I know is plentiful in this game, so I will be using the spoiler-free guide in order to basically find out the side quests, so I don't have to do a new playthrough, just in order to get the side quests in the channel. Okay, so let's get into it. Nightmare. That is really late. I even got a message from the guild saying he'd be home today, too. I should have gone traveling around the kingdom on some kind of training. I'm so bored. Maybe I'll just practice with my staff a bit before dinner. Hey, going home. Daddy! Sorry to have kept you waiting, Estelle. Did you take good care of the house while I was away? Hey, of course I did. Did you run into any trouble, Daddy? You didn't get hurt fighting the bad monsters, did you? No, I'm fit as a fiddle. That reminds me, though, I bought you a present. Really? What kind of present? A new fishing pole? Sneakers? Something for my training? Maybe I raised you wrong, Estelle. Aren't little girls supposed to like clothes and jewelry? I like pretty clothes, but they just get dirty. And jewelry breaks when you go play outside with it on. Anyway, Daddy, what's with the big blanket? Is that my present? Oh, you're a sharp one. Now, why don't you come and have a look? What? Well, here you are. Quite a handsome boy, don't you think? What? Why is my present a boy? Don't make such a fuss, or you're waking him up. Waking him up? You mean he's still alive? Looks kind of dead, if you ask me. I've treated his wounds, so he should be in stable condition. In the meantime, however, we'll need to let him rest. I'll put him to bed, so if you wouldn't mind heating a kettle with water on the stove, I'd appreciate it. Okay. He sure sleeps soundly, and he almost looks the same age as me. This is the first time I've seen a black hair like that too. He certainly does have a nice head of dark hair, and a pair of amber eyes to go with it. That's nice and all, but how about you come clean and fess up? Fess up? Yes, who is this kid anyway? And why is he hurt? Why did you bring him to our house? Is he an illegitimate child or something? Did you betray mommy? Where have you been picking up these kinds of words? No doubt from Shirazade, I assume. Yep, that's right. For heaven's sake, that girl is going to get me into trouble one of these days with all her nonsense. Actually, I just met this boy while I was out on business, and I don't even know his name. You mean break business? Something like that. Oh, look. Huh? He's waking up. Wow, his eyes really are the color of amber. Where am I? So you're awake, are you? Welcome to my humble home. You'll be safe here, so please just try to rest. What are you trying to pull? Huh? You must be out of your mind. Why? Why didn't you just leave me there to die? Why? Well, that's a question I don't know how to answer. Does things just work it out that way work for you? Don't toy with me, Cassius Bright. Do you have any idea what you are getting yourself involved in? Hey! You're sure shouting a lot for someone who's supposed to be hurt. Running your mouth like that is just gonna make it take longer for your body to heal. And just who are you supposed to be? I'm Estelle Bright. She's my daughter. Don't you remember me telling you that I have a daughter your age? Now that I mention it. Wait a minute, don't try and change the sub. Ow! Quit yelling! Alright already. But you jumping on me like that isn't going to make me heal any faster either. I don't hear you yelling again, do I? Look, jumping on me like that is just going to make things worse. Do I hear yelling? Never mind, just forget it. As a word of advice, it would be wise to not argue with Estelle while we're in this house. Even though I wouldn't stand a chance if I made her mad enough. Yeah, I can see that. By the way, aren't you forgetting something? Huh? Your name. You know, that thing that people call you? I told you mine already, so don't you think it would be unfair and impolite to not tell me yours? It seems like the logical thing to do if you ask me. Trying to hide it now would only serve to your detriment. Fine. My name is... a mystery. It's so bright in here. Oh. I slept like a rock. That means it's Dad's turn to cook this morning. I wonder if that means Joshua is still in bed. I guess that's a no. Well, I guess I'd better get myself ready then too. Nice, Joshua. Bravo. Good morning, Estelle. I hope I didn't wake you. Nah, I was already up when I heard you start to play. I can't believe how awake you are though. Even the roosters still have bags under their eyes. Not that I mind, with that siren song of yours gently lulling this beautiful woman from her slumber. What do you mean, woman? We are the same age and then hardly a man. How wrong you are, Joshua. We may be the same age, but I'm clearly the woman of the house. And that makes you something like my loyal follower, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, how fortunate for you. But let's try and sound a tiny bit sincere. It's really a nice tune though, cheerful yet somehow wistful. I like your other songs too, but of course this one is my favorite. What's it called again? The Whereabouts of Light. That's right, The Whereabouts of Light. I wish I could play the harmonica like you, Joshua. Sadly, it's a lot harder than it looks. Compared to what it takes to use a staff, I think the harmonica is much easier. It's really just a matter of concentration. You're probably right. I guess my problem is that it's just that if I don't do something that uses my whole body, I start to feel drowsy. Okay, playing the harmonica is fine and all, but how about getting some exercise too? All your hobbies are sitting around, kind of stuff like reading and music. No girl's gonna be impressed with just that. Well, excuse me for being so unpopular with the ladies. Although I feel like I should be the one lecturing you about your hobbies. I mean, what kind of boy wants a girl who loves fishing, collecting bugs, and has a fetish for sport shoes? That's enough about hobbies for now. And for information, I graduated from bug collecting a long time ago. Really? I'll believe that when I start finding beetles in the hallway. Estelle, Joshua. Morning, Dad. Good morning, Dad. Is breakfast ready? It's ready and waiting. Why don't the both of you hurry down before it gets cold? Okay, I'm on my way. Thanks for the grab, Dad. Ball and stuff it. Are you eating or inhaling, Estelle? Like people say, kids who eat and sleep a lot grow a lot. Well, make sure you get enough to eat, but don't forget to pour that energy into your work, too. That reminds me, you two are finishing up your training at the guild today, aren't you? That's right. It will be a review of everything that we've learned up to this point. And also finished ruby bracers, just like you, Dad. That means I'm not going to let you treat me like a kid anymore either. I still like understanding, Estelle. You can only become a junior bracer in the beginning, or in other words, a trainee. If you want to be treated like an adult, then you should work extra hard in your training to become a full-fledged bracer. Well, I'm not afraid of a little hard work. Just you watch and see what I'm capable of. Then, I'll be so successful that it won't take long before I pass you, too. That's the spirit. Let's see what you're made of then, shall we? Let's not start a rivalry here, you two. And Estelle, keep your focus on the task at hand. We have a test later on today, remember? Wait, what test? Please tell me you didn't forget about the test, Estelle. You know, the one that checks whether or not we've been mastered the skills we've been learning in this training. Don't you remember Cher saying that if you failed, we'd be stuck with a ton of extra homework? Crap, totally forgot. Now that you mention it, I guess I kind of remember her saying something like that. Don't sweat it, I'm sure you'll manage somehow or the other. I honestly don't know how you survived this long, Estelle. Your brain is like a sieve. Papa is sad. How could any child of mine end up with such a careless or optimistic personality? Ah, you were the one that rated me, so I definitely got it from you. I swear the two of you act so much alike, but whatever. We should probably head over to the guild soon, Estelle. Jen is going to be waiting there for us. Sounds like a plan. You know how crazy scary she gets when someone keeps her waiting. Oh, before I forget, it's my turn to cook dinner tonight. Is there anything particular you'd like to eat, Dad? Any requests? Something I'd like to eat, huh? How about Juan-style scalloped fish in a balsamic vinegar sauce? What's that? I think that's a little more than Estelle cooking skills can handle, or our stomachs. You're right, I just wanted to see what kind of reaction I could get. I just have the usual fried fish with an omelette. No need for anything fancy, but do try to make something edible. How rude! But I can't actually say he's wrong. Actually, I do have one favor to ask before you head out. I'd like you to pick a cup of the Liberal News from the General Goods store. They're supposed to be getting the latest edition in today. You got it. One cup of Liberal News from the General Goods store. If there's any money left over, you can have it as your allowance. However, that means no wasteful spending. Alright, thanks Dad. Okay, we are heading out now. See you later, Dad. Work hard and give Charizard my regards. Okay, so now we are in control. And as I said, I already played the prologue, so I know there's nothing in the house to get now. You can just walk outside and go to the city. So we start with Estelle and Joshua. Here you can see our menu with status, equipment, armaments, which will be explained soon, since we are still in the tutorial section. We have a map, basic tactics. For now, this battle formation, I believe it's okay. General options. And files, which I'm going to create a save here. So, following to the main city. The city of Roland. It looks like we made a good time. Not too early or too late, either. We just barely graduated from Sunday school. I never dreamed we'd have to study so hard to become bracers. Well, you are in luck. Today is our last day of training. Truth be told though, you're the one who signed up to be a bracer in the first place, so I don't know why you'd expect to get away with any less effort. Oh, yeah, I guess I did. Alright then. Let's get to it and make it through this last hazing for Shadow. You look ready to me. Let's go meet Shadow, the Bracer Guild over there, then. Okay. Even though our dad basically asked us to pick the newspaper in here, we cannot do it yet. We can talk in the general goods store, as I'm going to do now. But he's going only to say that it will be arriving later. Good morning, Mr. Reno. Hello, Estelle and Joshua. We're up rather early today. Did you come to buy a new pair of shoes? Now that I mention it, are there any new ones in stock? You know, like the new Stregas? Unbelievable. You've actually already forgotten why you came in here to begin with. You're not here to shop, you're supposed to be buying a copy of the liberal news for Dad, right? Of course. You've always been a big collector of these shoes, haven't you, Estelle? I'm afraid that the new Stregas aren't out yet. If we're after the latest issue of the liberal news, though, I should have them in around noon. Noon, huh? That's right in the middle of our training at the guild house. We'll stop by again after our training is over. Sure, I'll be waiting for you. We have the regular shop, and we have the curative items, and we also have stuff in the general shop for cooking as well. Cooking will be explained a bit later, but it's basically not that useful if you play on normal or easy mode, but since I'm playing Nightmare, the cooking will probably be my best source of healing, since it's way cheaper than buying the actual potions. Way cheaper than buying the actual potions, and I'll be needing a lot more healing than if I was playing another difficulty, since the monsters will have so much higher stats. So we can sell stuff as well. Convert, we cannot do that, but basic stat piff is dropped by monsters. And it's useful for some stuff, but you can also sell them to get more money. We also have the weapon shop. Top of the morning to you, kids. Good morning, Mr. Ogre. Good morning, sir. Well, you're up rather early, aren't you? Correct me if I'm wrong, but today is our last day of training, isn't it? I seem to remember you saying something about it last time I had you run into the storm. Yes, that's right. I see. Well, I'm sure you'll do just fine, Joshua. Now Estelle, on the other hand, I've got good reasons to worry. She's always being a bit scatterbrained, ever since she was a child. Probably all the knocks she took her to their head when playing with the boys. Really? So I guess that scatterbrained trait isn't something new, huh? I'll give you a head injury if you don't shut up. And don't call me scatterbrained. Okay, you two, let's not fight now. And shouldn't you be getting over to the guild? Okay, so we have 500 and we will need 100 for the liberal meals. So I will actually be buying 2 leather boots in here for now. Now they have some better armor. Let's go to the Bracer Guild. There you two are. Good morning, Estelle. Good morning, Joshua. Morning, Aina. Good morning. Is Shana here already? Yes, she's waiting for you upstairs. Once you finish today's training, you'll be finally recognized as a member of the Bracer Guild. Good luck to the both of you. Thanks. We'll do our best. The Star and the Hanged Man, the Hermit and the Magician, and last of all, Inversion through the Wheel of Fortune. This is a difficult combination. How should I interpret this? Good morning, Shara. Well, if it isn't Estelle and Joshua, this is a rare occasion for the both of you to show up so early. Since it's my last day of training, I figured, why not? I'm ready to get this show on the road and become a bracer myself. I give you credit for your enthusiasm, but I'm going to work you hard today in every way I can think of to make sure that high-spirited to the Furious holds up. I hope you are ready. I can feel that enthusiasm dropping already. Quiet, you. Every time I teach you something, you somehow manage to forget it. This training is my way of trying to keep some of that information in your head, instead of letting it dribble out of your ears like it usually does. Wah, Joshua! Shara is speaking on me. Don't worry, Shara. While Estelle may hate studying and rarely ever does her homework, X rationally is overly naive and has a tendency to stick her nose into everything. Her instincts are sharp, so I'm sure she'll pick up on how to use an armament with some practice. Eventually. Probably. I guess there's not much I can do now, except to hope for the best. Hold on a second, Joshua. Somehow I get the feeling that you weren't standing up for me. Well, that's odd. I am positive I described our best traits accurately. Whatever. By the way, Shara, what were you trying to predict with your tarot cards? Your face was really intent. Oh, this? I was just trying to get a vague reading about what might happen in the near future. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have been in the right mindset to interpret cards correctly. You couldn't read the cards? Oh, that's surprising to hear. Actually, the more profound the meaning of the cards, the more difficult they become to interpret. But that's not important now. I think it's time we start our final training. I'll give you a brief rundown of all the information we've covered in your previous training. This is minimal level of knowledge that bracers should have in order to function effectively. And Estelle, making sure especially close attention to what I'm going to say. Yeah. So, here's basic information about how the world works, basically. So they talk about armaments, which is basically the technology / energy source of this world. So instead of electricity in our words, they use the armaments. So it's magical devices, mechanical devices, in which we slot quartz, which generates herbal energy. So they can be used for flight, clocks, and lights, and to enhance people's physical capabilities. So basically a magic source as well. And you have about bracers. Bracers is the general alternate world fantasy guild. So basically the adventurers guild that you can see in many forms of media nowadays. General guild where people post requests, and those requests can be just from finding something all the way to slaying a horrible monster, and the bracers are responsible for doing those kinds of things. And then a small explanation of the kingdom. Which is one of the leading producers of the Sepium Sepith, which is used for making quartz and thus making herbal energy. As she also mentions, there is a delicate situation between this kingdom and the full empire, but at the moment it's kind of stable. Let's see, we've got a mountain of stuff to do today. I'll let you off the hook this time, with a condensed review. I'm going to speed things up now and move on to the practical portion of your training. Shara, how's today practical training any different from the training you've done before? Since it's practical, that means you will be experiencing things firsthand. Therefore, I'm going to have both of you run through everything as if this were a real bracer job. So what you're saying is, there won't be any studying at the task involved? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. This time you have to go out and make physical effort to accomplish your task. I'll make sure to have your workup a sweat, so I hope you're ready. Yes, that's certainly just what the doctor ordered. I didn't know what I was going to do if I had to sit another day with my tush parked at a desk. I guess I got all worried for nothing. Well, suddenly you are all bright and cheerful, Estelle. Let's hope that smile on your face lasts until the end of today's training. Okay, let's get cracking on with your first object, shall we? Let's have it. Your first objective will be to confirm the details of the job you will be performing. But before that, there's something that we need to give you, the both of you. Aina, are they ready? Yes, they are. Alright, you two. We'll get one for each of yourselves. These are very important, so make sure to not lose them. So basically, bracer notebooks are your journal. They record everything that's happening right now, what's going on, which quests you are taking, tips, and they also have a sort of inbuilt tutorial. So they teach you about skills and how to use everything. Yeah, so it's important for reasons. So I was talking about the bulletin boards, which is basically where you get the quests. This is pretty standard on a lot of RPGs as well. You just go to the board and you get quests. Here, from what I understand, this is the place where you get the majority of the side quests. So, now the tutorial about the armaments and quartz and herbal energy. Since this is an important shop where you can basically make quartzes and expand your characters. Okay. Armaments. So yeah, so as I said before, lights, airship engines. So and there are the battle armaments, which enhance people basically. They look like pocket watches. And they're different for each user, so that means that each user will have some slots that can only be equipped by some kind of quartz. And they have slightly different layouts as well. And then there are herbal arts, which are basically magic that are activated or equipped by equipping a quartz into your armor. You can think of quartzes as being like materia in Final Fantasy VII. They work a bit differently since they are basically, they generate skills from combinations instead of just being slotted in. But they also function similarly, so each quartz changes your character status a little bit, and they have an element. And equipping a quartz gives your character some kind of skill, which they call arts in this game. Then there's Sepith, which are monster drops basically. And they have 7 types as shown here, the 4 elements. Then they also have time, space, and mirage. And you can sell them to get gold, or you can just go to this shop and make new quartzes or open more slots for your characters. They say that Estelle can equip any armament at the beginning, while Joshua can only equip a time quartz. So here we go, modify and trade, and quartz. So basically time is the black one, so I have to make one because Joshua can only equip one and I need to equip 2. Yes. Now, they require a balance between attack and healing or defense quartzes at the beginning of the game. So you have to make the water one, which is useful because it has a healing spell as well. And since we are going to open a new slot right after this, I'll also make the attack one. Okay, now I have to equip it. So as you can see, Estelle, all quartz is okay for all of her slots. So I equip the water one, which gives Tear and Aqua Blade, Tear being a healing spell. And then for Joshua, on this slot he can only have time quartz. And he has another slot which can only equip quartz slot, time quartz. The other slots are all free for everything. So I'll put the action one, which gives me more speed, and 2 arts which are time related. So clock up, which is speed up, and so blur, which is basically just an attack spell. Okay, this is a balance between offense and defense, so it will allow me to continue. Oh, so you're finishing studying your cards, have you? Since you have both recovery and attack cards set up, it appears that you don't need any more instruction from me on about how to do this task. If you balance your arts out between each other like you've done here, it should make dealing with monsters much easier. And yes, it does on Nightmare difficulty. My first time playing the tutorial, I actually died in the sewers, which is the tutorial area. But with balancing between attack and healing a lot, I was able to go through it, so... Yeah, so he's talking about the points, so we have HP, EP and CP. EP is like mana, HP is health, and the CP, it will be explained later in battle. So now modify and trade, and she gave us more Sepith to open a slot for a character, which I'll be doing for Joshua. And I'll be opening the one that is connected to the other ones at the moment. And I'll also be equipping that attack quartz that I just made. Lowers my defense, but raises my attack, and gives me a firebolt art. Did you just say test? You can't honestly tell me that you forgot about the test again, can you? Didn't I remind you just this morning? Hahaha. As I mention it, I vaguely remember some sort of talk along those lines at the breakfast table. Sometimes I fear for the future of the Bracers Guild and humanity. Oh well, no sense in worrying about that now. Let's head over to the testing area. You mean like now? I don't know if I'm ready for... How about a little less yapping and a little more walking? Joshua, help me! Some elders, Freddy, thank you for all your help. Don't mention it, and good luck with that test of yours. We'll be rooting for you. I'm going to remember that you left me high and dry like this. Joshua! All your training has finally come down to this. Your qualification tests will begin here. I expect to see you both use what you've learned up to this point. Understood. What's wrong, Estelle? Shut up. What now? I was kind of wondering, but... Is there not going to be a paper test or something? Did Cassius drop you on your head as a child or something? You just read what it said on the bulletin board not that long ago, right? Yeah, and? And I even made you jot down what you read in your Bracers notebooks. Unless you forgot that too. I'm pretty sure the job listing mentioned searching for and retrieving an item from the sewers. Ringing any bells yet? What a relief! Ah, divine ideas. I give thanks to thee for thy infinite grace in bestowing upon us such wonderful gifts as sewers. Yeah, the sewer level. So what you're saying is that you thought it was a paper test? No wonder you were acting all crazy back at the Orbital Factory. Ah, I can already feel the nostalgia. All those horrible days stuck in a classroom are starting to feel like grand memories indeed. I'm really starting to wonder if you'll be even able to graduate at all. What's wrong with you? Why do you have to go and say something like that when I am trying to reminisce about positive things? Alright, that's enough yabbering. You too. This is supposed to be a test though, so how about both of you try to sound at least look a little anxious. Try to at least look a little anxious. Sorry about that. Just Just so you know though, if you do happen to flunk the test, you don't even want to imagine the kind of homework I have in store for both of you. Hey, we'll be fine. Just tells us what you want us to do and let us loose. Well, if you're so confident, then how about proving that you are just not blowing out of air with the results of your test? Anyway, as you both saw in the bulletin board, this test will be a search conducted in the Roland sewers. Your objective is to retrieve the contents of a chest which has been placed somewhere within that area. The layout of the sewers is extremely simple, so you don't need to worry about getting lost either. However, there are real living breathing monsters down there, so if you get careless and let down your guard, you will be sorry. Also let me give you this before I forget. Your Bone and Monster Guide. What's this book for? It's called a Monster Guide, and it's used to record information about monsters and opponents you meet. Basically a bestiary, with weaknesses and different tactics for each monsters. Okay. He who controls the flow of information controls the tide of battle, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. You've really got a good head on your shoulders, Joshua. That's some pretty useful advice. Thanks for the tip, Shara. We'll put it to good use. Alright then, let's get pumped and knock out this test. Let's. Don't forget though, this is an exam. We should make sure we treat it as such. Okay, so here are the sewers. We can see our monster over there. And we also have a recovery station here, which is pretty convenient, since we can come back here later as well to get some heal throughout the entire prologue. But I'm going to leave it here for today. So, on the next episode, we'll be going through the first battles. It's just a tutorial, but it will be interesting considering it's the nightmare difficulty. We'll be going through the battle system, it's tutorials again, so they'll be teaching how to attack or move and things like that. But that's for the next episode. See you then.